everyone, today I'd like to introduce you to one of our two brand new sets for April 2014. This set is called Hip Hop Hooray. Now we've got two cute little bunnies. This one's kind of a shy guy or gal. And then we have this here guy who's either giving you a high five, because that's what I like to imagine he's doing, or he's celebrating, holding up his little basket of eggs, or anything you can imagine. Along with the little bunnies, we've got a carrot and a basket with 3 little eggs in it, so that would be great for Easter. As well as 4 sentiments. This one is excellent. This one is 14 karat bread, which I think would go really cute if he was holding up a little bunch of carrots. Then we have bunny love, which is good for our little blushing bunny here. As well as hip hop hooray. And we thought that was a really fun kind of throwback sentiment to the 90s, but also really good for some cute little bunnies. So in the next part of this video, Judy Bagwell, one of our design team members, is going to show you how to make a really cute Easter ornament.
Hi, you've got Judy here today. I'm going to show you how to use the new Some Odd Girl clear stamp set, Hip Hop Hooray, to stamp on clear acetate and paint our image. And then I'm going to show you how to get that little bunny into the egg. And then you can decorate it using the whole set however you want to. I added a couple of the little smaller stamps to mine using paper on the outside, but we're going to focus on the painting of the image that's going to go on the inside. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to show you the supplies that you'll need to make this fun little Easter egg ornament. First of all, and most importantly, you'll need your Some Odd Girl clear stamp set, Hip Hop Hooray. And the stamp set comes with lots of fun little images. You've got 2 sweet little Easter bunnies, a carrot, an Easter basket, several sentiments, bunny love, hip hop hooray, 14 karat friends, and excellent. So there's a lot to pick from here. You don't have to do yours just like mine. Pick and choose the images that you like best for your little egg. You're also going to need a sheet of clear acetate. It comes in big sheets in your art supply section of your craft store, or my sheet that I'm using is a 12 by 12 piece that I got in the card making and scrapbook section of my craft store. You'll need some StazOn ink. Can't use just regular ink, it'll rub right off. You want something that's going to stay on there really good. You'll need craft paint. I've just got some old acrylic paint that I have laying around for crafts. You'll also need some craft scissors, craft tweezers, to get down in there. We're going to have to put it down in the little Easter egg, and some scissors. If you don't have craft tweezers, just go grab your eyebrow tweezers and use those. You're also going to need a little clear Easter egg. If you can't find the Easter egg, a lot of craft stores all year round carry the ones for Christmas ornaments. They're round. Sometimes you can find heart-shaped ones, or you might get lucky enough to find even a little snow globe, and you can use what you learned today to make any of those things. One thing that I forgot to mention was just a piece of paper. Any kind of paper, not cardstock, it's a little hard to work with, just some copy paper, notebook paper that'll bend easily, because we're going to roll it up and put it down in the egg. You're going to want to take your egg and trace around it just to get an idea of what size you want to use to make a template for your acetate. You don't want to just start cutting on it before and wasting it. So take your egg and just anywhere on the paper, and it doesn't have to be perfect, you're just trying to get the shape of it, and trace around it. And we're going to cut that out and then roll it up and stick it in the egg to see if everything fits. And then we might have to trim down and make some adjustments. Okay, now that you've trimmed that little template out, go ahead and roll it up, and we're going to put it in the egg and just try to get a size on it and see if that's going to fit. So just roll it up like a little tube and put it down in your egg. Use those tweezers and just kind of play with it and push it around. Mine's almost fitting. I think it just needs a little bit more of a trim, so I'm going to take it back out of there and adjust it a little bit more. This is where the tweezers become very handy. So I'm going to probably trim just a little bit off the bottom of it. I think that's all it needs. Once you get it trimmed down, just you'll want to just stamp your bunny onto your template and then practice it on the template as well and make sure that you've got it laid out just the way that you want it to. So work on that and then we will start stamping. Okay, now we'll start working on the stamping part. You'll need your acetate and your StazOn. Sorry about the glare up there. With the plastic it's hard to keep it out, but and it's a little hard to see the sheet, but it's right here. Get that out, stamp your bunny or whichever image you're wanting to use. I'm going with the bunny with your StazOn, and just try not to flip around, just a good straight down, straight up, and there's the image. And then you're going to want to let that dry real good before we start painting on it. Okay, now we want to go ahead and start painting our stamped image. We're going to paint on the same side that we stamped on. And I like to start with my lighter colors first. We're going to paint kind of in layers. So we'll go ahead and do our lighter colors. Just get whatever paints you want ready to go. I'm going to do his little nose first. And I'm going for sort of a light pink color. I recommend smaller brushes for the hard to reach places. Just paint his little nose on there. And again, we're going to paint in layers. So paint this on. It may not be that thick right now, but we're going to let it dry and come back and do another coat. So I've got his little nose, and then I want to do his teeth and his tail in white. And you're going to paint right over that little gap in his teeth that's drawn in the image, because it will show up on the other side. And I'll flip it over in just a second to show you what I'm talking about. So paint right up, you can get right up on that edge. And you can kind of tell that you can see through it, and that's okay because that second layer of paint will cover all of that up. And I like to flip back and forth on mine just to make sure I'm getting everything so I can see, okay, I didn't get close to an edge on his tail, and go back and put some more paint in there. And those little teeth are already drying. And this does dry pretty quick, so it's not an all-day process. Go back, put a little more on his teeth. See his little teeth there? Okay, so now we have let that dry, we can add a second coat to it. I went ahead and put some dots of white over his eyes and a little bit of pink around the ear also. So just make a second coat over the things that you've already done, and just try to get those areas that are super light that you can see through. And you don't have to be so perfect. It might look a little lumpy, but it's just the back. And go over those things that you've already went over. And your grass or whatever you put in, you can put some behind him and cover up some of that if it doesn't look so good. And the reason you want to do it on acetate is so that you can have area to put things in the background if you wanted to, maybe some flowers floating down. But you also don't want it sliding around inside the ornament. If you just put it on paper, fussy cut it out and put it in there, he's going to, move around, or you'll have to find some way to get him to attach at the bottom. And that's kind of hard, doing that in the egg or the ornament. So this way it has something to hold it in place. So we're going to let that dry for just a minute, and then we'll come back and do the rest of the bunny. Okay, now that it's dried a little bit, let's go ahead and get our main body color. And I'm using a wider flat brush to do this with, just so I can cover more area. You may, like in the tips of your ear, may want to get something a little smaller to work with. But I like to cover as much area as possible. So I'm just painting his little ears, and I'm going right over the light pink that I used for the inside of his ear. But you can still see it. And this is just our first coat, so you could see through that a little bit. And we're going to do the same thing when we get down to his face. Just go right over his nose and his eyes. Paint right over that. You don't have to worry about painting over his tail, but you can get right up on the edge and overlap a little bit just to make sure there's color everywhere. So if you notice too, like his little hand is right there, we're going to paint right over it. Don't worry about those lines, they're going to show up on the other side. And I guess you could do this on glass if you wanted. I've never tried it, but I would imagine to be the same kind of idea. So get out there once you've given this a try and try it on some other things and see what you can come up with. Be really cute for a window type card. And put it between two pieces of cardstock or pattern paper. Cut a little window out, that'd be real cute. Okay, so let's flip it over and see our, you can see with the light behind it how you can kind of see through him right now. But once we get that second coat, he'll be nice and clean. Isn't he cute? Okay, we're going to let him dry, and I'll be right back to put the second coat on. Okay, I'm going ahead and putting my second coat of the gray on there. It's nice and dry. And a little trick for, making sure that you've got it thick enough, you can hold it up to the light and see if you can see through. I can tell on my ears, I can see a little bit. Turn it over to the front. See those places on his ears there. Need a little more paint. Now, you might be wondering what you do if you get paint outside the lines. Once it is completely dry, probably a little more dry than we're letting it get in between layers, you can go back and softly scratch that off with your fingernail, maybe, if you have nails, or maybe the end of your paintbrush could push it off. If you're careful with your craft tweezers, the edge of those maybe, but if you're soft with it, it will just scratch off where you might have gotten out of the lines. So there he is. Okay, our bunny's nice and dry and he's ready to go in the ornament, but before we do that, I just wanted to show you, I put a little paint here and let it dry, how easy it is to get off if you do make a mistake. Just push it around with your craft scissors, the side of them, or your tweezers or your fingernail. Just do it nice and soft, and when it's really good and dry, it'll come off. So you can clean up your errors, sort of like when you are painting your nails and it gets on the edge and you want to clean it up. The same idea there. If you wanted to have your bunny dry quicker, you could dry it with a hair dryer. Just don't get too close, and you don't want to use a craft heating gun because it will melt the acetate and make it curl up. So now we are ready to move on to cutting our little bunny out and getting him ready to go in the ornament. Just take your template that you made earlier, and I'm going to have to cut the feet of mine off, but they'll be hidden with the grass at the bottom, and just cut around your template. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to see the edges once it's in there. They won't be that noticeable. You just want to make sure that you get close to your template so it fits back in the egg the way that you originally wanted it to. And you can pull it out and adjust it if you need to. You just have to be really careful. To me, it's easier to just get it all settled on the paper before you start putting it in there, and then you're just what do they say? Measure twice, cut once type thing. There he is. Ready to go. And I want to kind of show you up close how cute he looks once He's all painted up. You can see his little eyes show, his nose and teeth. You can still see the hands. All of the lines that are in the image are still there. They just have the paint over them. So now we're ready to just roll him up and put him in his egg, his new little home. So the same idea with the paper, but this is going to be just a little bit harder because it's the thick plastic. You want to take care of your paint edges and make sure that you don't scrape that paint off. Just get him in there, poke him down, and he'll pop open. And then you take your tweezers and just move it around a little bit if you want to straighten him up or pop him back a little further. Get something in, if your grass is in the way, I do put a little bit at the bottom just to make sure there's some hiding his little feet that I had to cut off. And then you can move it up and add more grass or whatever you want to put in there. You may want to put some flowers, or you might want to add a carrot from the set. Put as much grass in there as you want, and just keep playing with him until you've got him all lined up the way you want. There we go. There, that's how I want him pushed back. So I've got grass in there, and now I can put the lid on it. And at this point, you can just decorate it however you want. You could even decorate the little lid, maybe put some rhinestones on it, put some cute ribbon, add some more grass, anything that you wanted to do just to spruce it up a little bit. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, that you learned how to paint on acetate, maybe try it on some different things, and have a great Easter and enjoy your new Hip Hop Hooray set. Thanks for joining us.